Good evening, Speed Gaming Live, and thank you for stopping in for the final round of our Mystic Quest Randomizer tournament. Tonight's match will be round one of three, or best of three, of farfelu versus SirLinkalot. We have an exciting round for you tonight, and by we, I mean I am joined by my lovely co-commentator, the RPG Chick. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fabulous. How you doing, Hebings?
I am a little tired, but that is life lately, so. um, So, RPG Chick, would you care to give the audience a quick rundown of what seed settings have been for the tournament?
I will do my best, but essentially we have shuffled all of the NPC items. We have shuffled the red chest items. We have shuffled the battlefield item rewards, although the places where you get experience and gold do remain the same in those battlefields. Uh, Ben's level has been increased 2.5 times, if I recall correctly. And the monster spread of stats can be anywhere from 25 to 125. Yes, pretty sure.
I believe all the enemies are set to a base of 75 with a 50% spread. So, yes, 25% as weak as they are in vanilla or as buff as 125.
And then we do have them in randomized positions for our regular enemies with only a 50% normal density. So instead of having all of the monsters we would normally have, we have about half of that.
Indeed. And on top of that, so for anybody just joining us, our runners do not need to get every item in the game. They only need 8 key items to progress to the very end. There are no triggers in terms of events. And taking off here, so I'll keep this short and sweet. Tonight, our runners are looking for any of the swords, Mega Grenades, Dragon Claw, Thunder Rock, the Captain's Cap, the Mobius Crest, the Sun Coin, and the Sky Coin, although the Sun Coin can be swapped out for the Multi-Key for access to Windia, runners having Bomb Start. So, Bone Dungeon will be in here now picking up their moon helmets for some nice fire resistance.
Yeah, I mean, nice items to have are things that give you fire resistance. If we can get enough to get some lightning resistance as well, that is also really nice when we get to the end of the seed.
Indeed. And any of the armor here that our runners bump into on the way is going to be a huge boon for them, even if it's the low level stuff. Not only will it give them boost to the defense and evasion of Ben, but it'll also hopefully give them some resistances as well. And immunities, like paralysis immunity, petrification immunity. Looks like, there we go. Looks like we're trying to get their feeds in sync here, chat. So let's go ahead and switch to SirLinkalot real quick for audio. That way you guys can enjoy this banging soundtrack for this battleground.
So, as we said, the battlegrounds in terms of where you get the rewards for this particular set of flags is not randomized, although it is possible to actually randomize them with a different set of flags. And the nice thing about it is the way Wild Ham programmed it is the battlefields are actually color-coded when you shift them around, and it's very helpful.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, especially when you start shuffling everything. I think Ham's done a great job of making this randomizer very customizable, and you can tweak the difficulty to be very difficult or very easy. Just kind of anybody can jump in and make this game their speed, especially if it's their first time or they're a seasoned veteran.
Yeah, for sure. And picking up the sword, the steel sword, I believe, from the battlefield, and there's Excalibur. So even though you don't need the Excalibur, you only need a sword to go through Doom Castle. Excalibur is a really nice early find.
And the Night Sword being handed out by Tristram, so this is just a sword-loaded seed. Very sharp from our runners here. The Night Sword and Excalibur are going to be giving our runners a +5 speed bonus. Not combined, mind you, just in general if they are wielding either the Night Sword or Excalibur. So yeah, the other item set is the Claw Weapons, which instead of giving you +5 to your speed, will give you a +5 magic increase. And does that apply to the Cat Claw as well?
I think the Cat Claw does not apply to. I think the base weapons, it doesn't have the bonus stat.
For sure.
Picking up the Tree Wither in there. So even though our partners are pretty much in their vanilla spots, so like you pick up Tristram in the same cave, you pick up Phoebe in Aquaria, you pick up Ruben in Fireberg, in order to pick up Kaylee, you actually need the Tree Wither as your kind of trigger for her. For Kaylee 1. To get Kaylee 2, you need the elixir to cure her before she'll join your party in Foresta again.
And Rex rolling just barely enough HP for you to get that explanation out. Paper thin. Runner's just one turn killing him, and Excalibur makes that super easy. Sorry for that, chat. You will have to just wait for another boss fight to enjoy that sweet theme. I'll be interested to see if our runners decide to double back and get Kaylee 1 check out of the way.
I imagine, considering that they're still in the Foresta area, they probably will. It's usually when they have to trek all the way back that it becomes a little bit more, they become a little bit more reluctant.
Indeed. And our runners, speaking of armor earlier, getting some nice pieces here. Noble armor is going to give our runners immunity to poison as well as some water resistance. Charm necklace not going to give our runners any resistances other than mute, but will give like a nice little bonus to the defense and evasion.
Did Wild Ham actually fix the mute glitch in this game or no?
I think so, because I have been muted before.
Oh, okay, because I
not
don't
able to
remember
cast
ever
spells.
being muted.
There's no visual tell, so you can't tell until the text box comes up, and I'm usually mashing away, so I can't see it. I would have go cast.
That's totally fair.
I would have go cast 3 times and nothing came out. I was like, oh my god, am I actually muted?
So our amazing coder for this randomizer has patched out pretty much all of the glitches. So you cannot do the item underflow and overflow stuff. You can't buy 0 items and suddenly have 255 in your inventory. And it's also going to make our Dark King fight a legit fight. Depending on, of course, how thick or thin he is.
Indeed, no HP underflow for our runners tonight. They're going to have to fight him the unnatural way. And buddy, let me tell you, even if he rolls paper thin, he's still a nasty piece of work. Looks like Farfelu was about to dip out and go to Aquaria and then remembered he had the Wither Tree, opting to go ahead and make his check like SirLinkalot here. Get this out of the way now in case this has something key. Ooh, Linkalot missing with Excalibur there. Something you don't want to see, but with the speed bonus and the damage, it is a guaranteed one-shot.
With this low a level, the accuracy is just not the greatest.
But being rewarded for their diligence with an Aegis Shield, that is definitely going to be handy for the end game. This item's going to give our runners immunity to the paralysis status as well as petrification, and is going to give them a huge bump to their defense and evasion. So while Ben might not be able to hit with a darn, he'll be a little shifty himself now. And Gaia armor, we are getting swords and boards tonight, folks. Any paladin mains in the chat are loving this setup. Armor up, swords up, let's go.
And now, of course, we get our best partner, Phoebe. Oh, it's not
Indeed.
Phoebe 2, but it's pretty close.
Even the precursor has some benefits to her. She's one of the first partners. She's the only tier 1 partner that has AoE capabilities, being the designated spell casting partner. So all these fights here are going to be very nice to just watch these enemies burn and usually wither away in one turn.
Yeah, so our intrepid runners here are fighting the fights inside the Magic Ring battlefield usually. The other thing that I don't think we mentioned is that the amounts of battles in the battlefields are randomized between 1 and 5, which is really nice because sitting there for all 10 is excruciating sometimes.
Yeah, I was very appreciative when I saw the seeds being rolled and I saw the settings at 1 through 5 and not 1 through 10. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I like it. It's great for experience. It's just not so great for anything else.
Yeah, no. As much as I love the battlefield theme, and especially the first 10 seconds, hearing it over and over and over again would get a little grating. Both of our runners getting rewarded with Wake Water, though. Looks like they're opting to thaw out Aquaria now. I'll be interested to see if they dip into Spencer's Cave or if they're just going to make some shopping trips and clear out some extra battlegrounds. Farfelu running straight for crab. So SirLinkalot here.
I watched him do this last night, and I did not realize that you could actually push that one over now because you don't me to fight the monsters, and you don't have to go around the long way, and I feel really stupid for not realizing it sooner.
You know what, though? It's a good skill to have because with the enemy positions being randomized, sometimes that can happen. I had a seed the other night where I had a Lamia just sitting there mocking me behind one of those blocks, and it's like, all right, well, I got to go back to the original way and hop across and kill you now.
I mean, also, I forget who I was watching. Somebody was doing a seed the other day, and I realized that you can just push another block to the. You can push that top block to the side instead of towards the bottom, so that you can go check the upper right-hand chest if it's a brown chest shuffle.
Mm-hmm. Both of our runners getting captain caps now. That is another piece of go mode. I wouldn't call this a jet seed quite yet, but it is definitely stacked. Farfelu dipping into Ice Pyramid now, while SirLinkalot's going to go ahead and check this battlefield, maybe North Focus Tower as well.
So on standard mode for our randomizer, technically the mirror and the gas mask are not quote-unquote required in order to find an item inside the pyramid or inside the volcano. So it makes sense if while he's here in Aquaria and he doesn't have any other coins, it's not a bad check for item density.
Mm-hmm. Farfelu picking up a river coin. SirLinkalot picked up white and mega grenades though. So while Farfelu now has another destination, SirLinkalot's got some major firepower out his hands now, and another go mode item.
And it looks like Farfelu was going to grind for a little bit of money there.
Mm-hmm. Going to go ahead and get some shopping money. Linkalot checking 2. I think both of our runners are of the mind of if it's like 2 or less, it's fine. Any more, and it's like, yeah, I'll wait till Fireberg.
Yeah, I mean, when you're kind of routed to Fireberg first, grinding on the battlefield, regardless of the amount, is not the worst idea. So, but in Aquaria, especially since this battlefield is only worth 600 gold, it's definitely better if it has fewer battles in it.
Indeed. Now, 600 gold will be enough to fund your shopping trips to Aquaria and Windia. The Aquaria checks only 200 GP. The Windia checks only 400. Fireberg is the most expensive, though, with 500. The lady being nice and moving out of the way of SirLinkalot here. Getting a Venus key for his diligence, though. Let's see
And
if anything's
Farfelu
left.
had picked up a gas mask for the volcano coming up, which is nice because you can actually see the enemies and not have to run away from random battles.
Indeed, but no claw weapon for either our runners yet, so not able to complete the wintry cave, go into the depths of Ice Pyramid here. Bombs and swords are the word of the day so far. Let's see what Spencer's handing out.
Interesting technique from Farfelu, saving out here in Aquaria so that if Spencer and the Venus chest have Garbo in them, he can basically just reset.
Mm-hmm. We'll save him a few seconds, though, over running out, and if he had exit on hand, I don't think saves coming's any faster because you have to wait through the starting menu, but definitely a good technique if you don't have exit at your disposal. But Spencer handing out some good stuff. Multi-Key and Libra Crest are very good items. They are check gates. They only go to 1 check each, but, you know, Multi-Key having that dual purpose of access to Windia with the Multi-Key.
Oh, there's the
Members Crest. There we go. Linkalot still has not checked Wintry Cave, nor has he checked Ice Pyramid, so he's still kind of stuck in Aquarium. Meanwhile, Farfelu able to leave, but, you know, opting for a full clear as well, just to make sure he's got everything he needs. Ooh, Quake. Obviously not a fan of Quake. It's very unfortunate because of the way the game scales spells, chat. They're all basically locked on the vanilla progression, so while Quake is an Earth Elemental Black Magic spell and you would expect it to do good damage, even, you know, if you're single target hitting something that's weak to Earth, it only maxes out about 500, 600 HP. Like 600 damage. It's not very good. Mega Grenades do more damage, I think.
Linkalot, since this was his first trip in, and hasn't gone to the Ice Pyramid to find his river coin yet, is opting to go through the entirety of Wintry Cave, since he does have the claw on him.
This could pay out for him. The big squid could have some goodies on him. I've had some good luck with the squid here, either handing me exit or go mode item from time to time. Let's see if he's nice tonight.
Yeah, early exit is always like the yes moment.
Indeed. It basically doubles or sorry, cuts in half the travel time that our runners will have to make when doing dungeon checks. Instead of having to walk all the way back out to the exit like normal for most of the dungeons except Lava Dome, they could just double tap and get on out. Bye
And
bye, squid.
just squid going down like calamari. And
Mm,
unfortunately, only jumbo bombs for his trouble.
indeed. Now, SirLinkalot could go ahead and full clear Ice Pyramid here if he so desired. He will have to go get his river coin, but if he decides to do a full deep dive and there's go mode goodies in there, this could be good for him. Farfelu, meanwhile, not opting to buy a 500 gold downgrade, instead opting to save that cash for seeds.
Yeah, so
And
that
chat,
whole thing of not being able to buy seeds, of 0 seeds and underflow them means that you gotta buy as many as you need.
indeed. And chat, no, ooh, Thunder Rock from the Hermit there. I think we are a Dragon Claw and a Sky Coin away, and a Mobius Crest. So 3 items away from Goma now. What was I going to say? What did Tristan just hand out?
I think it was Thunder.
Not a great
Yeah,
spell, but
basically.
it'll do. But I mean, they have white now, so that's kind of worthless at this point.
Yeah, finding whiter flare is always really nice. It's not it's like life, cure, exit, flare, or white, and then you're pretty much magically set.
Mm-hmm. Arrow is nice as a backup in case you don't want to spend time putting seeds in the bin for wizard spells, but
Yeah.
it's not required by any means. Farfelu taking on the Jin now. I'll be interested to see how fat he is tonight. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot is going for that deep dive, hoping that Ice Pyramid pays out for him. And
Ice
Ruben taking a
Pyramid is
nap.
so hit or miss, so it's like, maybe it'll have something, maybe it won't. But he does have Phoebe with him, so at least he does have that AoE magic.
Indeed, and since he has white on hand, not nearly as long of a Ice Golem fight as it would normally take with just Phoebe 1.
Yeah.
He did go ahead and rest at an inn before coming in, so he is fully loaded up on spell slots for now. But with no seeds available, he's going to have to ration those out accordingly. Ruben handing out an axe for, saving his dad, essentially, and that's not a great reward, but it will open up a few other checks.
And of course, we have to check the North Mine, so...
Let's see what goodies are in here. I looked at the tracker for just a second. What did I miss?
It was a magic ring.
Yeah. I like how we both have the same,
Exactly.
yeah, same exact reaction. It's like not great, not awful. It's a bump up from the charm necklace. It's okay. I think the magic ring's actually what gives you the silence immunity, and not the
It
charm.
might be. I honestly never remember the immunities except for the level 3 gear.
I do remember that Cupid Lock gives you immunity from blind and confusion.
Yeah.
But that's just because the confusion immunity is huge for the final fight.
Yeah, those silver webs are a massive pain in the butt.
Looks like we lost SirLinkalot's feed for just a second here, so we'll go ahead and stay on Farfelu for right now. Oh, there we go. He split back into existence. I thought the fight took him out. So Farfelu's early Firebird play not netting him too many Go Mode items. I think Thunder Rock's about the only other piece he's picked up. Some decent equipment, but nothing huge so far. Linkalot still could come out of this ahead if there's some goodies hiding here in the Ice Pyramid. And Farfelu going to make his battlefield checks now.
Yeah.
With Tristan 2 of all people.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anybody pick up Tristan 2.
Not intentionally, at least. He might have been. he might be a little on edge for the finals, and I wouldn't blame him. He might just have forgotten. He's like, I got a partner. Let's go.
I mean, in all honesty, Tristan is only nice because he does have a little bit more agility than Ruben does, but they're about as useful as each other. So.
Indeed. Oh, in French vanilla, magic mirror for SirLinkalot, so now he can see everything a little too late. But it
Yeah,
will help him
that's
check the.
unfortunate.
It will help him get through the Noble Arbor room a little nicer, though. That room can be littered with enemies sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Tristram has 90 speed, and I only know that because I did research when I was testing out one of our new beta features coming down the pipeline.
Oh, so
Farfelu
there's
picked.
the elixir, and that means that technically Farfelu can go back and pick up Kaylee too. He cannot get the item until he has access to Windia, but Kaylee too is a nice partner to have.
Indeed, she has only one spell, which is Arrow, but she hits like a truck and is immune to petrification, unlike the other partners.
Yeah, and picking up Cure Spell, which is also a really, really nice find.
Indeed, until our runners find life, that is going to be Ben's major source of healing for the party. Linkalot sitting through the cutscene. Let's see if he's rewarded for his diligence here, checking Ice Pyramid. I am looking at a frozen screen right now, unfortunately, so we will just need to wait and find out.
Uh-oh, I think we missed a couple of treasures.
Indeed. So only time will tell if that was a go mode item. Hopefully we will be able to tell when he opens his menu, if he opens his menu. I'll try to keep an eagle eye for when he goes to use seeds.
Yeah, for sure. And now Farfelu working his way through the typical Thunder battlefield, and that'll be the last item checked in the battlefields for him anyway.
Mm-hmm. Interesting strategy, waiting to get Ruben 2 before taking on the battlefields instead of going in with Ruben 1. Ooh, and there's the hazard you run with bringing Ruben 2 to these fights. Instead of just smacking Ben in the face with a Morning Star, he wipes you out with white.
Oh, Ruben.
Getting quick revenge though, and Farfelu being rewarded for his checks with a Blizzard spell.
I don't know how much of a reward that actually is, but sure, let's go.
It helps you. It lets you build a nice snowman instantly, and that's about it. Cat Claw from Volcano. Not anything our runners want to see after getting not Dragon Claw, Charm Claw, but, you know, it was a claw.
Yeah. I mean, at least the nice thing is you know, you can recycle through your weapons and just go back to the better item, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm. SirLinkalot clearing out his checks in Fireberg now probably will not buy the Venus Shield as well, since he already has access to the Aegis Shield. Going to spend that money on seeds, and he'll finally have some means to put out that firepower he's accumulated.
So, especially smart picking up Ruben 2 here, because Medusa can be kind of a jerk, especially depending on how thick she rolls. And since his Ben is at a pretty low level, having white on Ruben will hopefully make this fight easier.
Hopefully, if he has good luck here. Ruben breaking that confusion though, but that is the benefit of having confusion immunity, chat. And a quick Medusa for Farfelu, getting his Mobius crest now. But having that confusion immunity could make it to where you don't lose a turn at all and prevent any workplace hazards, so to speak.
So at this point, Farfelu does have complete access into Windia with the multi-key and the Mobius crest. So it'll be interesting to see if he decides to dip into Lava Dome or if he goes straight to Windia.
Yeah, if he does decide to go to Windia, he only has about 5 checks on the table. Suncoin Chest, the Vendor, Spencer's Cave. I think that's all he can get without Dragon Claw. All the other locations are technically Dragon Claw adjacent, so Lava Dome might be the place to be.
Yeah, he can technically go do the Kaylee 2 thing as well, which would be another check, but it's very out of the way unless you really have to do it at this point.
And I guess they could do Max Ship too.
Oh, yes. And picking up Giant Axe for the first chest, the life chest.
That's something they want to see. I'm interested to see if they adopt the check Moon Helmet and dip strategy here, or if they're going to do a full clear of Wyvern if there's no Dragon Claw waiting for them in that chest.
Well, we know from the other night that Wyvern can be very, very trolly with the items that it has sometimes.
Indeed. Handing out a Venus key that led to go mode, but you know, a lot of times it's one of those options you have to weigh. It's like, do I make the full trip and waste some time, or do I hedge my bets on some other stuff that I can get quicker? Looks like we lost Farfelu's stream here just for a moment here too, chat. There is inclement weather going on the East Coast, so apologies if we are dipping in and out here on streams. Um, the SGL staff has been doing a great job getting these streams back up and running. Missing what he got, but I don't see Dragon Claw equipped. Most runners don't swap off instantaneously like that, so.
Yeah. So
The
he'll
wild-
likely go down and hit the switch, and then we'll see what he does from there.
Indeed. The wild card tonight, chat, it looks like is going to be Skycoin. Skycoin can literally be in any red chest in the game, all the way into the first floor of Doom Tower. I haven't seen it there myself personally, but
can
after
it be there?
Oh yeah, Ham has. We've spoken on this subject before, and he's like, yeah, no, Skycoin is open season. It can literally be in any chest.
Wow, that's good to know. I didn't realize it could actually be there. I figured, well, maybe not there, but okay.
Yeah, none. I don't think anybody's had the woes of finding it there personally yet, but it is technically possible. Or at least if they haven't sent it in on the receipt report channel. Farfelu is going to go ahead and exit out and dip into Windia, though. Make sure to hit the switch, though, in Lava Dome beforehand. So in case he needs to come back for whatever reason, he will be able to just run straight to the Wyvern's lair. Let's see what the vendor lady's selling. Battle Axe.
Oh, that's not worth it.
No. No, it is not. And Otto, can you get some Mario Kart up in here? We need a Rainbow Road stat. And bada bing, bada boom, we are ready to start racing, chat.
Oh, yes. We have our Phoebe 2, our best partner ever.
It looks like Farfelu did not dip into Foresta to go get Kaylee 2, opting to go to Spencer's Cave since it is denser. And again, apologies for the technical difficulties here, chat. We're doing our best to go ahead and get these streams as stable as possible. So in the meantime, thank you everybody for your patience. Sorry that we're experiencing this.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of our runners are East Coast runners, so.
Indeed. So we'll do our best to go ahead and get them back up.
Yeah, at this point, though, since both of our runners did dip into Spencer's Cave, the only thing that's going to be left is going to be the Mobius Crest chest.
Indeed. But, you know, it could be holding that Sky Coin, which I believe at this point, Dragon Claw and Sky Coin are the only thing Farfelu needs.
Yeah.
SirLinkalot going to go get his checks now. Looks like we're also working on getting audio back up for you, chat.
Well, it looks like we have Farfelu back, and he is doing a Pazuzu's tower climb, which, unless he picked up Dragon Claw when we weren't looking, is kind of impossible. Oh, he does have it. I wonder where that Dragon Claw was. So with the Dragon Claw, that does open up a good portion of the Windia area, actually, pretty much all of it. Yeah, it could have been the Mobius Crest. That's true, Mago. So it opens up Pazuzu's tower because you need that grappling hook to go across the roof, as you just saw. It's needed to grapple on Mount Gale, and it's also needed for the tree as well. So that's why so much of the Windia area was basically shut off to him. And unfortunately, Farfelu's stream is frozen again, but we do have Linkalot working his way through the Medusa fight, not getting terribly lucky. That confusion on Ruben, oh man, it's awful.
Yeah,
It is heckin' awful.
Ruben is a great partner, but my man only has resistance to fire and no immunities from status ailments. And he hits like a truck regardless of what he's using. So if he's confused, it's never a good time.
Oh, yeah. And I was watching Farfelu's strat with the beholders, and it's kind of interesting because the beholders are like the slimes inside the tree where they reflect your magic back at you automatically. And I guess because the white is spread out, it doesn't do as much damage as if you're just kind of hitting it head on. But it's an interesting strat to get through
Hmm.
those fights a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and with the wizards about casting cure, it's a strat I found myself by accident one time, and have just started doing since. It's easier to deal with one beholder without magic than a whole group, especially the one with healers.
Yeah, for sure. And ooh, flare pickup in the Excalibur chest. That is a very, very nice find for Farfelu. So at
And
this point, he just has to find his stupid sexy bird.
indeed, and the true troll piece here tonight again is Skycoin. Farfelu literally only needs Skycoin for go mode, but the blessing and curse of him getting Dragon Claw is uh, that coin can now literally be anywhere.
Imagine how awful it's going to feel if he has to go all the way back to Foresta for Kaylee for it, or into the bottom floor of Doom Castle.
SirLinkalot about to rule out a question for us, though. Was this where our runners got Dragon Claw, or was it Mobius?
So, the thing with Pazuzu's tower is, so you have to climb up, go up to the roof, and then come around and come down. Oh, no, that was Cupid Locket, so that's actually a really nice find too. But you do have to go all the way up to the roof of Pazuzu's tower, and then kind of start making your way down floor by floor to see where our bird has ended up. And the bird can basically be anywhere except where you speak to him. So since our runners, and the roof, of course. So since our runners speak to him on the roof, it doesn't really matter. He can't be back up there at the end because there's no way to access him on the roof. So he can be floor 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you have switches on the even numbered floors, and the switches will keep him from going beyond those particular floors. So because Farfelu did not hit that floor 2 switch at first, it allowed the bird to go down or up. And the bird decided to go down. So we're gonna see just how thick or thin our bird is, and Pazuzu can definitely still be a troll, despite the fact that he does not have Doom Dance like Zoo does, and we have a really, really quick phase 1 here. See how quick phase 2 is if we even get to a Psych Shield? That'll be interesting. And it looks like SirLinkalot has gone back to pick up Kelly too, and is opting to check her item, and he'll be able to also get his Phoebe 2 at that point as well, which will make clearing out other areas a lot quicker. And that was a super paper-thin bird. We didn't even get to see the stupid sexy bird. But let's see what he's got in his chest. So for Farfelu's trouble, what's it gonna be? Or is he frozen again? Uh-oh. In that case, we follow Linkalot into India. Heckin' weather, folks. Heckin' weather. And did not get to see, unfortunately, what the item was for the vanilla Sun Coin chest, but that's okay. So with Phoebe joining the party, Kaylee will go upstairs to her usual position in the inn here, and he'll be able to pick up the item, which is the Meteor Spell. So Meteor Spell is a nice backup, especially for the Wyvern fight in Doom Castle. It's not super useful on much of any of the other bosses, but it's still a good find. So guessing that Suncoin was not in its vanilla location because Farfelu is opting to go over here to Mount Gale. The nice thing about going over to Mount Gale, of course, is the fact that once you defeat the Dullhan on the top of Mount Gale, the wind in Windia stops, and you can buy extra seeds in Windia if
just went down for a second. Thanks for covering, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
And my son started screaming, and my wife needed a hand with him real quick.
No worries. I got you.
Yeah. Oh man, what did Pazuzu have?
I couldn't see it. It froze, so.
Ah,
But it definitely was not Vanilla Suncoin.
looks like Linkalot's dipping into the Alive Force real quick. And did Farfelu go check the Suncoin chest at all yet?
Under Doom Castle, I think he did. I just don't think we saw what it was.
No, the one in Focus Tower after it opened up the purple door.
Yeah, I think he did, but I don't think we got to see what it was.
Ah. Well, let's see what the forest has for us.
Yeah, so we'll have the Giant's Axe chest. I almost said not the right thing. Finding the exit spell for his trouble, which is always nice. But I didn't see what Farfelu got from Dullahan's chest.
It looks like he got a steel shield. Not something he wants to see. It looks like we might be making a trip to Wyvern tonight, chat. The big dragon might have what our runners need for go mode. As a matter of fact, unless it's on max ship or in the basement of Doom Castle, I think that's exactly where it is. SirLinkalot hedging his bets on max ship before going to P Tower, though. A smart move. He won't have flare if this is go mode, but he does have white, so he'll be missing out at about 400 damage. But if this is go mode, it's go mode.
Oh, here we go. A heal spell. Not bad, but eh.
And do our runners have life yet?
I have not seen life personally, but we also haven't had our runners actually climb the tree yet. So there's also the possibility that it's locked behind Gidra as well.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Farfelu gonna go pick up his exit spell now. I'll be interested to see if he does a full check here. He might be hedging.
So we're being told that Pazuzu's chest was the Gemini crest. So unfortunately for this particular set of flags, not really useful right now.
Indeed. Linkalot getting an Apollo helmet from Max Ship. He's gonna go check the base of Doom Tower.
Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, if go mode is here, chat, Linkalot is in a nice position to go straight on to the final battle. Meanwhile, Farfelu hedging his bets on Ghidra. Maybe the Chimera will be holding on to the final piece that our runners need tonight. If not him, then it's either got to be here in the basement or with the Wyvern.
Yeah, for sure, because Farfelu is a little bit ahead in his checks than Linkalot is. So... Oh, and it's just the fire spell.
The anticipation is killing me, chat. Is it in the volcano or in the giant tree? I gotta know.
And unfortunately for Linkalot, since he hasn't dipped Pazuzu's tower and there is the greatest item density in there, he will probably do that next. But we already know he's not going to find too much aside from Flare for his troubles.
Some of our other viewers getting some deja vu here from the semifinal match between Farfelu and Shanigan. Tree versus Lava Dome.
Whew. Yeah, it's a thing for sure.
Indeed. Now the downside of checking Tree is once our runners check the chest for Meteor, they will essentially be locked behind watching the nameplate pop up every single time they enter a room for a brief second instead of being able to interrupt it with an input. So it will be the tiniest bit of time lost if there is no Sky Coin here on subsequent checks for Farfelu.
And here's our trolley slimes with their automatic reflex spells. How dare you have automatic reflex spells, sir?
Right? Magic's one of the best parts of this game. They're just gonna make it null and void? How rude.
So
Linkalot now fighting Dullahan. As we know, though, from Farfelu chat, this is only going to yield him a steel shield, but with exit on hand, he will not need to save and quit out. He'll just be able to dip right on out with a quick cast of spells. Neither of our runners have life from what I could spot on Farfelu's screen, though. And Ghidra here should pose no threat to our runners, minus maybe the petrification on Phoebe, and even then that's a minor inconvenience.
So that... I'm trying to think of what else, if they haven't checked anything besides Wyvern and Tree. Because we're missing life. I don't think we've seen the sun coin either, though, have we?
I don't think so. And Linkalot dipping into P Tower here. Hopefully he has a little bit better luck with his positioning than Farfelu did. Linkalot does have life, so it looks like Ice Pyramid was the place for that.
Oh, okay. And at least if Linkalot does go all the way through with fighting Pazuzu, it's a pretty paper-thin bird, and he's got the exit spell, and we have a sun coin, so Farfelu is in go mode.
Yep, our Sky Coin was hiding in the giant tree, so this is time for Farfelu to head straight on to the castle. Linkalot's going to be a little bit behind, having to do a full check, or not having to, but more than likely doing a full check of P Tower here.
It'd be really, really bad if he opts to go back to Lava Dome instead of the tree.
Mm-hmm. I would think with proximity you'd go tree. As much as I hate the place, if it was a 50-50 for me of either tree or Lava Dome, I would personally go to tree.
I have to say it's not the worst of the two, especially because in tree with the more open spaces, you're less likely to get the conga line of monsters in the tree than you are in the Lava Dome, where everything is kind of narrow passages.
Mm-hmm. And that little text box glitch that we're seeing over here on Farfelu's screen, where he can't move for a second here, that's already been patched out by Wild Ham for the subsequent release after SGL chat. So no worries about that. Linkalot is going for a full clear here. Gonna lose him about 4 or 5 minutes doing a full clear here, especially with enemy density.
Farfelu opting to pick up some more seeds so that he is fully ready for the trip through Doom Castle, which is an extremely good idea. But without the life spell, he's got a battle ahead of him going up this tower.
Indeed, not only is Dark King someone to worry about without life, but so is Zuh. We've seen it firsthand in this tournament. SirLinkalot having great trouble with the big bird when he rolls thick and just focuses Phoebe. So Farfelu's going to have a lot of luck, going to need a lot of luck to get through here unscathed. Either low rolls on Zuh and Dark King, or just good targeting and not a lot of troll spells. You'll be able to deal with status ailments, but if Phoebe goes down, it's practically a wipe unless he's one shot away from victory.
Yeah, Zuh has been pretty trolly the last week, so we'll have to see what it does tonight. That was a pretty thin Skullosaurus there.
Yeah, but casting life on him with Phoebe is always going to guarantee you a one shot, so at this point it's just a matter of getting it done.
I think you were commentating for one of the races where I tried to use life with Ben and I didn't realize that didn't work.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't think Ben could do it even with like his max magic stat. I think it's something with the way it's coded.
Oh, yeah, because I've always done exit and I've never done life, so...
Looks like Farfelu might be feeling the pressure a little bit. I don't think he hit his second switch on the left-hand side.
I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he only hit that first one, which is good for Linkalot, but...
Indeed, every minor error that Farfelu makes here tonight, chat, is going to give Linkalot a little bit more time to catch up in terms of finding go mode. Subsequently, though, any mistakes that Linkalot makes will give Farfelu a greater lead here tonight. Looks like Linkalot's struggling to find his bird after hitting the switches. Where could our big bird be?
Yeah, I tend to notice that as amazing as these two runners are, without the speedrun experience, Pazuzu's tower seems to be a little bit of a stymie for some of the other runners, and now Farfelu discovering that he did not hit that second switch.
Having to backtrack now. Meanwhile, Linkalot getting lucky and pinning his bird down on floor 5, so he won't have to talk to him and wait for him to go up. You cannot fight Pazuzu on an even number floor, chat, and he can only be encountered on odd number floors after you sandwich him between two switches. I think the most optimal for the randomizer, the most optimal position is like floor 5 or floor 4, where you can just kind of go and hit 2 switches and be done with it.
Yeah, neither of those are bad. Floor 6 is pretty good too because you can just walk right back up.
I don't think I've ever seen him on floor 6. I've never been that lucky.
I don't think I think I've seen him on floor 6 maybe once the entire time I've been playing the randomizer.
Oh, jeez.
And
Me?
Linkalot only going to be rewarded with his Gemini crest in this chest, unfortunately.
Indeed. So how much time he makes up here is all going to depend on where he decides to go next. Again, he's knocked out almost all of his checks. It's down to whether or not he's going to go to Giant Tree or Volcano. I don't think he's got a Sun Coin, so he is going Tree, chat.
Nice. You have to give these runners credit though, because they have basically pretty much 100%ed this whole seed, and look at their times. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had a lot of people come out in the woodwork for this entire tournament. Like, there's been some seasoned veterans and there's been some new faces showing up, and we've had in the final competition here, at least from the quarterfinals on up, people consistently getting times of like 50 minutes to an hour on the regular, and some even faster times if we have some nice RNG. So it's been interesting to see everybody kind of pop up out of the woodwork and really show their stuff for this tournament. It makes me look forward to next year.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of current events, farfelu now on his way to or encountering the wyvern. Now the wyvern really is not much of a challenge, chat. Unfortunately, there is no cheese to be applied here, so those of you that have lactose intolerance won't need to worry too much. He is just usually a spongy boy with a lot of HP.
Yeah, white works really well. It's a faster cast than Meteor, but it does a little bit less damage than Meteor does from Ben. But like Meteor's slower, so I can understand using white over Meteor.
And then
Arrow too.
Yeah, I think Arrow is technically a little bit slower than white, so
yeah.
Really only using Arrow as a backup if he's still not dead by the time you're through all your white charges.
Yeah, white and flare are pretty much your go-tos in Doom Castle generally. If your chimeras on Zeus floor run really beefy and you don't have the white, Meteor is a good backup for that though.
Or Arrow, since they are weak to the wind spell.
Right.
Speaking of the wind floor, farfelu going on. Let's see how thick these dogs were. I remember them being a little chunky from the golem fight.
Yep, they are a little chunky tonight.
Let's see just how chunky these puppers are, though. Not terribly chunky, just chunky enough to be annoying.
The doggos are weak to flare, though, so flare will or fire even will work really well on these puppers.
Indeed. farfelu making quick work now. I imagine he's going to be about level 20 encountering the Dark King, unless he has a Congo line waiting for him, in which case he's probably going to be about level 21. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot making short work of Deidre there, now on to get his Sky Coin. A good little bit behind farfelu, but again, farfelu not having life on here could be the equalizer when it comes to the Zo fight and Dark King. 2 or 3 wipes here could let SirLinkalot catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when we had our second race, SirLinkalot just was stuck on Zoo for 7 minutes before he's like, "Nope, I'm done."
Yeah, very unfortunate turn of events for him in that situation. And farfelu could have the same kind of situation going on here. Let's hope he doesn't have a hard time of it. But you know, anything can go for Randomizer. That is just kind of the nature of the beast, especially when you're shuffling up enemy stat values. The gamble of not making as many checks and going in without life is the fact that you do have to deal with situations like this and be flexible. So let's see what farfelu has to deal with.
A little bit of a chunky Chimera too.
Yep, opting to go full flare strats though, ignoring the Chimera, and it pays off for him. Not particularly chunky. Let's see how big this bird is. still not down. We could have a big bird on our hands.
Yeah, we're 4 spells in, and we're still in phase 1.
Good gracious, this man's a 16-piece bucket waiting to be picked up. Feed the whole family. So chat, get your easels ready. We will have probably a good, lengthy, stupid, sexy bird pose waiting for you once he hits phase 3. Meanwhile, Linkalot making short work of Rex, moving on up to the stone golem now.
And we finally have a phase 2 bird. So since all of the phases roll independently, it is possible for Zoo's other phases to be less chunky.
Indeed.
Oh, no!
And a Doom Dance on Phoebe. That's not something you want to see. Farfelu going to go full offense here now, though. Hopefully phase 2 is paper thin here. Oh, but taking a single skydive is a reset for him. Giving Linkalot another couple extra seconds here. Yep, chat, this is the gamble you run. If you get a thick Zuh and a thick Dark King with no life, you have to adapt your strategies accordingly and play a little bit more reserved. And just have good luck, because there's no mitigating Doom Dance.
Mystic Quest RNG shenanigans are just gonna happen. There's no stopping it.
Yeah, while the game is known notoriously for being easy, it is also known amongst the speedrunning community for being notoriously mean when it comes to RNG.
Yeah, this brings back fond and awful memories.
Well, at least Wildham had the courtesy to give Ben a 2x speed bonus, so moving around is not going to take nearly as long.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, unfortunately, if Doom Dance decides to hit, that's it. You're done.
If it hits Ben, it's fine. Ben's not of any consequence.
Oh,
Farfelu getting another Doom Dance on Phoebe. And burning a seed here, hoping to get some more offense off on Flare. Ooh, and forgetting about the reflect. Unless he did that intentionally. He could have taken an intentional wipe to save time.
Either that, or he thought he might have, that Zoo would have went first, because I'm pretty sure Zoo went first the last round of the fight.
Indeed. Farfelu not in a position to go ahead and back out and try to reset or anything, not having a safety save on hand. He will just have to tough it out, and I think at this point, being at 15 minutes and knowing the caliber of his opponent, I think he's feeling a little bit of the pressure here, but he's going to go ahead and shoulder onto getting another Phoebe wipe. Not something you want to see. Unable to run. Looks like he's just going to go ahead and try to force a wipe here. And Zuh grants his wish for a wipe.
Zuh showing why he is the ultimate real bless of the any % run.
Indeed, yeah. You never snuff out the guy who's second in command here, Chad. Just like Rubicante for Final Fantasy IV, Zuh here is here to put our runners in their place if they decide to get a little bit cocky.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only get stupid sexy bird instead of nice sexy leg. Well.
Meanwhile, SirLinkalot onto his Wyvern fight. Again, this is not going to be a difficult fight for him. It is just a time sink. But every second that Farfelu loses to Zuh gives Linkalot the advantage to catch up here. And the same story could be told on Dark King. Just if Farfelu does make it through this encounter, Dark King could be just as nasty. And with a high-speed Dark King, it is terrifying to deal with without life.
Oh, yeah. When Dark King goes first instead of your party members... Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, you can kind of account for it in pre-prep, but there is no pre-prepping for bad RNG. You get a wombo combo with maybe a gold web into laser, and that's a wipe. There's nothing you can do about it, especially at these levels.
Linkalot is going to head up to Zoo's floor, so he's just got to get through the mobs.
Indeed. He's got about 5 or 6 fights. Meanwhile, Farfelu soldiering on through, being a little bit aggressive, but also being mindful of his HP. He is in a good place in terms of speed and turn order. And literally, his only threat here has been...
Doom Dance.
Doom Dance, yeah.
This is... I have to say, this is a lot better to commentate than to have to deal with.
Yeah, the pressure's on somebody else at this point. That being said, my heart does go out for Farfelu here. Being competitors ourselves in the tournament, RPG Chick and myself, having to sit through a situation like this where you know your opponent's usually of a high skill level, just as good as you, and being stuck in a fight like this, never a good time. You getting flashbacks?
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, we
there's
got
our
our
stupid sexy
bird.
Linkalot's nipping at Farfelu's heels, though, and he probably will get through this in one shot, thanks to the life spell. So even if he does hit a little bit of bad RNG here, we'll be able to obviously make up some difference here. And Farfelu is through Za now onto the Dark King fight. Meanwhile, Linkalot's got about 2 more pulls before he starts his Za fight, but I imagine he's going to be one and done here. Actually, no fights. He's on to Za. So what would you say, about a minute or 2 without wipes on this fight?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, the fact that Phoebe and Ben can outspeed Pazuzu, having that life spell, ooh, it's going to make such a difference for him tonight.
Indeed. Farfelu taking a safety save here, not wanting to take any chances.
So we got to see just how beefy our king is tonight.
He could be paper thin, in which case this is Farfelu's race to win. Two shots in, though, no phase transition. All of these phases will roll independent values, chat. So while phase 1 here looks like it's rolling about average, could be about average HP. The others could be paper thin or super chunky.
You never want phase 3 or 4 to be super chunky, though.
Indeed, it is one of the scariest phases. I find phase 2 to be the most annoying just because of the raw damage he puts out. Speaking of phase 3, though, Dark King is being pushed on a little bit on the lighter side in phase 2. This could be a big break for Farfelu.
Whoa.
On to phase 4 here.
Fast.
And that is time for Farfelu. That is a paper-thin king, giving him the advantage he needs. SirLinkalot just behind him on Za. And that is how Rando gonna Rando.
Man, that was a blink and you miss it, Dark King.
Indeed.
Although considering after all the struggles that Farfelu had with Zoo, honestly, all the more power to him.
Indeed, if he'd have had one more wipe there, this would have been a much different race with SirLinkalot literally nipping at his heels. So GG's to both of our runners here. Round 1 is going to go to Farfelu. This is going to be a best of 3, though, chat. So we will have another match, and our next match is scheduled for tomorrow. We're going to see if we can get our runners in here for an interview now. Give me just a second here. We'll go ahead and let SirLinkalot finish up. I don't imagine this is going to take much more time, and we'll get both runners in here at the same time. And Linkalot wrapping up his Za fight now. Onto the Dark King, which we've already seen is paper thin.
Yeah, so this is he's only going to finish a couple of minutes behind Farfelu.
Indeed.
But hey, for that temporary time, enjoy the awesome Dark King music.
Right? It's such a banger of a theme. Like, I being a Final Fantasy XIV player, I'm hoping at some point they pull from Mystic Quest, if nothing but for the music.
Well, if nothing else, they might add Mystic Quest to the new Final Fantasy Theatrhythm game coming out for Switch. That's my hope, because it was on the last Theatrhythm game, some of it.
Yeah. Ben even got himself a nice little chibi spray from that, from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have seen a glitch with Paper King before, where if you push him and the RNG rolls in your favor, if you push him from phase 2 to phase 4, he essentially glitches out and uses one spell from the phase 2 tree over and over and over again with the phase 3 and with the phase 4 stats. So he could just sit there and crit you with lightning sword with those weird tentacles hanging out forever.
Oh goodness, I'm glad I've never seen that, and that's GG for SirLinkalot.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and see if we can get him in here. We're already joined here by farfelu. GG's, sir.
Yes, GG.
Thank you, GG, SirLinkalot.
Yeah, it looks like the play of the day ended up being skipping Ice Pyramid and Winter Cave, although there was a bit of a detriment to that. Not finding life from the Ice Pyramid. Zuh definitely gave you a run for your money, especially rolling on the thicker side there.
Oh yeah, that was the real the real last boss.
Yeah, indeed. We've seen it happen to SirLinkalot, and seeing you go through it too. That's kind of the gamble you make with not going to Doom Tower with life, and you hit a thick Zuh, and not being able to pick up Phoebe with RNG being purely, the decider there. It could be really stressful. Were you feeling the pressure after about your second wipe there?
Yeah, I was starting to feel a lot of pressure because well, first I did that gamble at the tree where I'm pretty sure you were not expecting. I feel like with the full clear of Pazuzu's Tower and Mount Gale, I was starting to feel behind, so then I find exit in the forest, so I decide to, well, with that at least I can peace out easily after killing Gydra, so I decided to make that gamble, and yes, going into Doom Tower at something like level 17 or 18, so I was feeling pretty good with all the piece of armor you can have. But yeah, that Zuh was just probably the worst you can roll with those settings. But well, DK was the other opposite, so it was fine.
Yep, and we are joined by SirLinkalot now. GG's, SirLinkalot.
Thanks.
The one check being the only difference there. How did you feel being able to go through Tower and not be at Zuh's mercy after you saw him roll that thick this time?
I mean, I felt pretty good, especially as that fight kept going, and I don't think I ever saw Doom dance from him, which if I didn't have life, probably would have been the complete opposite. But I mean, I didn't feel the worst part about Doom Tower was I'm just like I full cleared the game. Basically, the only check I got to skip was Wyvern, which I knew had to be Suncoin. I'm just like, if he skipped anything, I'm behind, and I need something crazy to happen, and that's why I was just like, when it was getting his eyes, like still wasn't finished, like, oh, maybe he skipped Ice Pyramid because of where River Coin was, and like it would have been a good play, but then he doesn't have life. That could have been an issue, and then as I'm finishing up Zuh, I saw the done. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, yeah.
But yeah, that was basically it though, because he wiped his I think 3 times, 4 times. But yeah, we were watching you slowly catch up to where he was, and you were just starting the Pazuzu floor essentially, or going through the beginnings of it when he finished the Zuh fight.
Yeah, the paper thin king really being the deciding factor there. If he'd have rolled any thicker, this could have been a much different outcome. What was I going to ask? Oh, yeah. So in terms of routing, SirLinkalot, with your familiarity with the randomizer, you mind explaining in the chat real quick the logic behind ruling out Suncoin? I know as runners, me and RPG Chick can tell, but this might be a good time to kind of explain things to the chat.
Yeah, so having Elixir, so when I was going to Lava Dome, I had Elixir, and Elixir doesn't actually, it unlocks Kaylee 2 check, but Kaylee 2 is in the Windia area. To be able to get to an area, you can use the shortcuts, but logic determines you have to have the coin. So when I checked the first 2 checks in Lava Dome and there was no Sun coin, just like the only possible thing Wyvern can have now is Sun coin, because everything else is in the Windia area now. I full cleared Aquaria and Kaylee 2's in Windia, so I have to be. That's where it is. So I can just straight skip him because I've got my way there with multi key and Mobius Crest.
Indeed, and thanks for giving us that explanation. So, in terms of just the armor set, how much of a factor would you say that played into your guys' comfortability clearing out the beginning areas of the game? Because I think you guys were jacked on armor, like not even like with full clear stuff, but I think you at least had Age of Shield and a good couple pieces coming in early, and all the swords being stacked in Forest. Farfelu, how did that play into your plans there in terms of how comfortable you were getting into the beginning area?
It sure helps a lot. Yeah, when I saw the River Coin with those pieces of armor, I knew I had to go to Fireberg then. That is why I skipped Pyramid. Like I said in the race room, maybe with Mirror I could have, with Mirror or Exit, I would have pushed Pyramid a bit more, but with that much open in Fireberg and all those armor, and maybe I already had white at the time, so I was pretty stacked. I did not fear Jin or Medusa, so that's why I rushed that area and then find Mobius Crest, and I could just go to Windia.
Not only that, but if I recall, when you first dipped in and got the river coin, I don't think you had gotten the charm claw just yet either, so you wouldn't have even been able to full clear it at that point.
Oh yeah, that might have been behind Whitewater.
Yeah, order of operations was just a little bit different between you two. You went to go check Winter Cave first. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot, you went to go ahead and knock out your battlegrounds in North Focus Tower. What was the thought process behind that? Just a more thorough check, hoping to get some more goodies before going into the other areas, or?
I mean, mainly thoroughness, but to see if I could find a claw to where I could go into Wintry Cave and not have to potentially double dip, or go into Ice Pyramid and not have to, double dip, because I probably still would have went for the second chest, but having to double dip those if something was there and claw was available right before it feels really bad. And, this stage in the tournament, you're in finals up against a good runner. You can't make mistakes like that. That's one single mistake like that costs you the race. So.
Indeed. Yeah, no, the prudence gave you the edge in terms of survivability, but unfortunately RNG being in Farfelu's favor for tonight. That being said, though, tomorrow could be a different story. And speaking of tomorrow, chat, race is same time tomorrow. I don't know what channel yet. Has that been announced?
Not that I'm aware of just yet, but we'll probably know pretty early on tomorrow.
Indeed. So if anybody wants to get the inside scoop on when the next match between Farfelu and SirLinkalot is going to be, feel free to join us on the Discord. That's ffmqrando.net to start making your own seeds. There's a link to the community Discord in there. Very young randomizer, only built like last year.
Earlier this year, I feel like back in the spring.
Yeah. So definitely, if you guys want to get on the ground floor of a randomizer, this is very beginner friendly, just like the Final Fantasy game, but it has tons of customization options. We have ideas coming out the woodwork here for all of, the other randomizer tweaks you might see from the other games that you've seen run. It's just a matter of getting those implemented and tested out. So if you want to be on the ground floor for any of that, please feel free to join us in the Discord. SirLinkalot, we'll go ahead and start with you for final thoughts. Going into tomorrow, anything on your mind or any shout out you want to throw to the chat before we go ahead and call it a night tonight?
No, I mean, it was a good race. Looking forward to tomorrow. Just kind of have to make better decisions and not full clear the game, basically, and hope it works out.
Indeed. And Farfelu, anything from you?
Well, at this point in the tournament, there's no secret or magic trick, so yeah, we'll see tomorrow if Rando can roll in my favor again. So I'll just try my best and have fun again. Thank you for the restream, and yeah, see you tomorrow.
Indeed. And I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to my lovely co-commentator tonight, the RPG Check. Definitely great always having a partner here in the commentator's booth.
For sure. And a big thanks to Mortal Mago, if I said that right, and if I didn't, I'm sorry. Give Mortal Mago a follow, and if you want to give me a follow, and definitely give our amazing runners a follow, and my amazing co-commentator, despite the fact that he thinks you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nobody. But anyways, chat, we're going to go ahead and call it here for the night. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow, round 2, and we will see you all then. Have a great night.
Night, y'all.